got my package in from T. Rutland's, which is a Ferrari supplier, part supplier. And so what I'm opening is this box full of seals, or at least the start of the seals to start doing the doors and things on this car. So let's see what we got. So all this stuff comes from Italy, and it's a supplier that is called Chico Gianni or Chico Giannani, and they've been supplying, or supposed to be, the original equipment manufacturer to Ferrari, and they still make the rubber parts. Now this stuff is, it's the only real choice. You kind of have to order it. I mean, this is the stuff that fits on Ferraris. It's pretty good. It's I hate to throw shade on stuff like this, but there's so many issues with rubber that it's hard to point fingers and say it was this reason or that reason or all this other stuff. But what I've noticed is that rubber can change in dimensions when they make it. This stuff is extruded, and sometimes there's some errors in it. Also, the other problem with rubber manufacturers is that they kind of know what it goes to, but then they don't. I'll give you an example. All right, so this is the steering shaft seal. And it changed from, even though they say 330s, Ferraris are interesting because they changed from one car to the next, and these can also change. So they might label it for 330, but which 330? A 332 plus 2, or a 330 GTC, or and the website shows some of it, but you can see from the pictures it's not correct. So you kind of have to know what you're ordering. Let's see, what else can like, I'm just inspecting some of these parts because I have to figure out I just had to order some of this stuff just to hope that they were correct. And we're just going to go through and start putting some of this stuff on. Yeah. And what's crazy, this is this box just of this rubber, over $1,500. I mean, that's kind of what rubber costs for a Ferrari. People like to say, I joke about it, I call it Ferrari tax, because you just pay this kind of money for Ferrari parts. But at the same time, one of the reasons why it's so expensive is because, if I were making these seals for a Mustang, they made 250,000 Mustangs, 500,000 of the same type. Let's say from 1965 or 64 and a half to 1966. Generally, they were all the same for those 3 years. There's 500,000 of those cars that were running around. So let's say half of them are still running around. That's still 250,000 cars. Ferrari, they made, each model year, like this 330, they made 2 plus 2s, they made 1,000 of them, roughly around 1,000 of them. They might have made another 300 or some odd for GTCs. So you're only looking at like total production run of about $2,000-3,000 through less than 2,000 cars, 1,500 cars. And then each model, some of them have specific things to them that are only specific to that car. Like, for instance, this vent window seal. This vent window seal only fits Series 2 330s. It doesn't fit the Series 1 cars. So how many Series 2 330s do they make? They made about 500, I think, or maybe a little less than 500. So how many are you selling in a year? 2 a year. And this mold is pretty specific to the car. I mean, it only fits this car. And so keeping this in stock and making a tooling to do all this stuff so it fits inside the original stuff is kind of expensive. I don't exactly think that they're making a ton of money, but these things are hundreds of dollars just for this little vent window. I guess it's you might just say, oh my God, that's so expensive, but You know, this is what happens when you have limited production cars. So I'm going to start going through some of this stuff and figuring out where it goes. Some of this stuff I wasn't sure. Like, there was one of them. Where is the one that I wanted to see? This guy. This guy, I couldn't figure out exactly where it went. I mean, the pictures show you, but it really doesn't show you to scale. They claim that it definitely goes on a 332+2, and I didn't see any rubber that matched it. But, you know, I figured, okay, well, we're gonna have to order it, and then we'll figure it out, see if it fits. The rest of this stuff, I'm pretty sure I know where it goes. You know, I've got the door seals. I've got this is the little lip seal. This is the one I don't know. These are the quarter window seals. This is another door seal. These are the windshield wiper arms that go that insulate the arms, the shafts. This is the little T seal that goes around the door that seals the lip of the door. This is a steering shaft seal. This is the B pillar seal that needs to go in so I can seal the B pillars. So the only one is this guy. I'm not sure what this is, so we're gonna have to mess around with it and look and figure it out. But you know, starting the process of the doors. I haven't gotten the windshield seals. I haven't gotten some of the bumper seal, you know, all the little bumper seals. I figure what I'll do is buy these things at one step at a time and install them, and then get them as I go. It's kind of hard to just put a huge order in, because then you start misplacing parts and seals, and I just want to make sure I got all the seals in for the doors, and then I can start working on the doors. So here we go. Okay, got a small box from Ferrari Parts Supplier, and let's see what several $100s worth of parts are. And this is the cost of restoring cars, especially Ferraris. So anyway, these are the bumpers for the door strikers. I can get back to some of these about, you know, what the reproductions are and then what the original ones are. And sometimes, you know, even the reproduction stuff is not that great. So, but you need them, you need them. So here are the door bumpers. What's interesting here is, I could see how they're slightly different. Okay, so let me show you the original ones. These bumpers are replacing the original ones that are here. They are, you know, hard rubber, but if you look closely, okay, so let's get some reproductions. Okay, so here's the reproduction. The reproduction looks pretty close, but when you look closer, there's a lot of differences. One is that it's significantly thicker than the original one. So what ends up happening is these are the receivers on the car side. So when the door closes, it's supposed to go in there. This sits on the body of the car. This is the bumper that slides into the slot. Well, if it's thicker, the clearance here to the car is not going to be the same. So you have to shave it down. So what I did was shaved the original one down, or the reproduction down, and you just have to take some distance off of it and fit it to the car. The next thing that you look at, as far as reproductions are concerned, when you look closely, there's a brass insert inside these original rubber pieces. Well, these come with no inserts. So what do? Well, you can, if you have the original ones, you can press them out. So what I started to do was I pressed them out and looked and found that the inserts, you have to excuse my hands, look how dirty they are. When I pressed these out, you could see that they're actually pretty complicated. They're knurled, they have a bevel on them, and what they basically do is when you put the screw in to hold, let's take an original one here. When you take the original one in and you put the screw in, the bevel keeps the screw from bottoming out. It also allows the rubber not to squish down when you tighten down the screw. This is new rubber, so it's definitely softer than the hard. These things have hardened, you know, through the years. But the problem with now is that without the little spacer, you have to put these spacers in. So I'm hoping I can press these back into the new ones. But what I found was there's a couple of them I was missing because they were just they were either broken or removed and not usable. So I had to make a new one and press a new one in just to replace one that was no good. But But the thing is, you know, that needs a machined. I got some brass rod, and I machined and followed the spacing and put it in, and that'll bottom out when I put it in. So my theory was that these originally were a certain thickness and they weren't cut down. I don't know why the new ones are so thick, but if they were cut down fit distance wise, you know, I don't know if they would have done that easily with these collars, especially when these collars are machined to a specific thickness. So, you know, just another one of those things that just is frustrating with reproduction parts. What you would think that you would just buy and put them in, it takes another couple steps of pressing the original bushings out of the original ones and then transferring them here. Before you transfer them, you have to grind these down to thickness. So another issue with you know, reproduction Ferrari parts. Okay, this is the seals for this stuff, but not exactly. Ugh, not happy with this. This is not pretty. Not really well made. Okay, so let me show you what the original ones look like. Here's an original one. First off, it looks bigger. Let's see if I can get this in here. See, now look at that. They're not even the same size. This is the problem with a lot of these reproductions. Look at this, the way this fits in here. This is all nice and tight all the way around. Now, obviously, this is an original one. This was the plastic piece, but it fits pretty tight. You get this reproduction one, it's slightly bigger. Doesn't fit as tightly around this thing. So when I put it in the car, it's going to squeeze out. I don't know what I'm going to do here. I might have to cut this gasket back or something. I don't know. I have to see how it works, but also just have to see if anybody else has a better one than this one. So, and of course, it's not the same color. You know, the original ones are translucent, and these reproductions are gray. So I don't even know why they chose this color. Why couldn't you make it? I always look at it like, what if you're going to go through the process of making a reproduction piece? Why not get it 100% right? Why get it close enough? You have to make a mold out of this thing. Why didn't you choose? So there's another problem. Okay, this is the leaf spring piece that goes in the space between leaf spring. That's normal stuff. That's not something I have to worry about. This is the shock spring spacers. I got to put that in for the rear shocks, and I've got these bushings for the sway bars. So that's these are for the D pieces that go around the sway bar. Looks like I'm gonna have to cut it open because it's not split. So that's another issue. And I've got these limit rubber bumpers for the suspension. So that's it. That's several $100s worth of rubber parts. These pieces were like $60. These were also $60 or $60 or $80. And then, you know, again, this is the stuff that was really expensive. These things were like $120 or something like that a piece, and along with this. But you know, add it all up, and it turns into, you know, several $100s just for this little box of stuff. But and it's not exactly right. So now I got to figure out what I'm going to do with this, whether or not this is the only option. And I don't think I want to reuse this original piece because it's pretty torn up. But I'm going to look around to see who else has options. And, you know, I've already polished these edges up, and these are ready to go back in, but I need gaskets. So I don't know. I just really don't know what to do here. I mean, I might be able to get this to fit a little bit better, but it's really disappointing to spend this much money on stuff and then not have it fit right. All right, got another box from my part supplier, part source. Let's see what's in it. This is probably, well, you know, it's funny, when I order these parts, order it several days ago, and there's always parts coming and going. So I sometimes forget what it is exactly that I order. So it's as much as a surprise to you as it's going to be to me. Let's see. Oh, this must be blower motors. Yes, brand new blower motors. These things are great. So the old ones I have are all cracked and broken, and these things are still being made, which is beautiful. In fact, I have the adapters. They adapt the new ones to the flanges. Look at that. It's close. It's a little loose, but I'll make it work. I think I could put a piece of spacer here. That's 2 blower motors. Let's put these aside. So here's the other one. So I needed a left and a right because they're handed. So let's just double check to make sure. So you can see that these are opposite, so they will go in. I have the brackets painting over here. I just have to figure out, well, those are wet, so okay. I think that, is there anything else in here? Always make sure that I'm not throwing anything out. I'm gonna double check the invoice. Okay, the next box should have more. The other one I think was just the blower motors, but this is probably more of the stuff I'm looking for. So it's pretty heavy. So I think that these are brake rotors and some other parts that's going on in here. So let's see what we got here. I have brake hoses to finish the brake system on the 330. So that's good. I got tie rod end set to finish the tie rods for the front steering on the car on the 330. And we got some nice brand new brake rotors. That's what was so heavy. Oh boy. Yeah, these are nice. So these are gonna go in. I think what I'm gonna do though is I'm gonna paint those hubs just because it's nicer to, even though originally they came in bare steel, I think I want to put some paint on it so it doesn't rust before I install them. But yeah, so that's these are ready to go. So that's a few $1,000s of parts right there. You know, these are nice new solid brake rotors, but the problem with them is that they're not cheap. You can go to the parts store and get rotors similar to this for a modern car for like, you know, $20, $50. Try several $100s each for these things. So you know, I've seen them all over the place. I mean, I've seen them some for $1,000, $2,000, not that $2,000, but certainly $1,100. But luckily, I've got these a little bit cheaper than that, but from a good supplier. But like I said, it's part of the reason is because they're for Ferrari, so it's not like you're selling a ton of these things all the time. I mean, how many people were putting together a 250 or a 330 GT 2+2 or any 250 front brake rotor, and then, you know, you're not selling hundreds of them, you're only selling a few at a time. I mean, I'm buying 2 because the other 2 I was able to cut down and get decent size out of them, but I wanted to put the best rotors in the front. So anyway, that's unfortunate, the price, but it is what it is, and we're moving forward and putting the car together. Thanks for watching.